I was doing a video for YouTube with Ron Broyles the other day, and he told me he had been invited to speak at the monthly meeting of the Campbell County Historical Society. Ron and I decided to video the speech and place it on my YouTube channel. As you probably already know, Ron is a well-known stuntman and is credited with being the godfather of the eXtreme. My next series of videos will be Ron's appearance at the Campbell County Historical Society meeting. A few years back, the Catholic Church moved into their new building, and this beautiful old Catholic stone chapel was converted to a wedding chapel by the Campbell County Historical Society. The stone chapel was constructed in 1909, and the interior is decorated for weddings. My next series of YouTube videos will be the video of Ron's speech to the Campbell County Historical Society. Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoy Ron's stories about the eXtreme.
I don't know a lot about Mr. Broyles, but I did know he was born and raised here in La Follette, and he graduated La Follette High School, and I met him in the library, like I meet everybody that we have to speak here just about, and he was in there using the computer one day, and this other gentleman said, "Do you know who that is?" And I said, "No." And he said, "Well, he's Ron Broyles, and he climbed the Peach-Tree-Plaza in Atlanta, Georgia." That's how interesting. And so I got to talking with him and asked him if he'd like to come up here and speak to us. He said he'd love to. And I asked him why he climbed those places. He said just because they were there. But anyway, after he graduated, he said he did a stint in the Navy. Then he went to California. He wanted to make a name for himself, and I'm sure he has, because he's been a stuntman in the movies. He's climbed numerous high buildings. And we are very honored to have him here with us tonight. He has a DVD to show us, and he's going to be very entertaining, I think, as well as we're going to learn a lot. We're going to learn how to do that if we decide we're going to do that. So, with no further ado, here is Mr. Broyles.
Thank you, Nancy. Well, I hope I can meet up to that billing. This is my assistant here, Miss Savannah, my daughter. She's 6, and she's going to be helping me out tonight. I grew up in La Follette. I lived over on South Cumberland Avenue. My mother just passed away about a year ago. And I was up here quite a bit, actually. I was in the library because I'd stay over there, and there's no internet, so I had to check my email. I went in there, and when Nancy approached me, I said, "Yeah, that's fine." I've done some things that a lot of people think are interesting. I spent 25 years in LA, which was about 15 too many. It was a lot of fun when we first went out there, but it just became too congested and too crowded. And it's not somewhere where I wanted to raise 2 daughters. I have a 13-year-old. I have Miss Savannah here, who's 6, and I have a stepson who's still out there. He hasn't had enough yet, but I think he's coming around. I guess I'll start by asking anyone here if you remember a gentleman by the name of Mad Jack Fielding, who used to sell furniture over in Knoxville. He gave me my first stunt job. This was back around, gosh, about 1979 or 80. Mad Jack would do anything to sell furniture. He used to chainsaw things in half. You know, it was shot value. It was stuff that back then you really didn't see very often, and he became very popular very quickly. And I walked into him one day because I'd been to California once to get involved in the stunt business, and I came back to finish up at UT. And I wanted to make some money on the side, and I thought I could help Jack sell some furniture. As it turned out, we did pretty well. He said, "Yeah, sure, what do you want to do?" I said, "Well," he was jumping off the top of his building at that time, about 40 feet, in just a bunch of boxes, a huge pile of boxes. And I said, "Well, let's roll some cars, let's jump some motorcycles, let's do the regular stunt stuff." And he pretty much gave me free rein to do anything I wanted to do. So for my first stunt job, I was my own stunt coordinator, and it's a miracle that I'm still here. But We had a lot of fun and did a lot of things that I'm kind of proud of, because for this area you don't see a lot of that kind of edgy stuff. And back then it was really edgy. I remember we had Channel 6 over there one time, and I was going to show you. Well, you can come by and look at all the pictures, but we did a car roll in this parking lot. And I built the ramp and I set the car up. He bought the car for me, and we must have had about 3,000 or 4,000 people over there. And the guy that was actually shooting the commercial, it was in one of his commercials, he came up to me and he said, "Ron, where do you want me to set the camera?" And I didn't know anything about shooting stunts. I knew how to do them, but I didn't know anything about shooting. I said, "Why don't you go straight out there about 200 yards and set up?" So he had the camera out there, and of course he zoomed in as I hit the ramp. I must hit the ramp about 40 miles an hour. And the car flipped over in the parking lot on its top, and everything was perfect. But I'm upside down, and I'm still doing about 40 miles an hour. And I'm going, this thing should be slowing down at some point. And it never slowed down. It never. What had happened was there's little gravels out there in the parking lot. They acted like roller barriers. And the car just kept going and kept going and kept going. And I said, "There's a guy out there with a camera. He's got to be getting real close to it." So the thing finally stopped, and there was smoke and everything, because when you flip a car over, the oil goes all, the oil comes out everywhere and gets on the exhaust. There's smoke everywhere. And I'm coughing and choking and going on. And I climb out upside down, and I look out the front of the car. The guy's about 6 feet away from me. And he goes, "How in the world did you know that thing was going to stop right there?" I said, "Well, I've been doing this for a while." And I walked away and just said, "Thank God."